Hey guys, welcome here. My name is Emma and this is my YouTube channel where I like to talk to you guys all about my knitting and yarn that I collect obsessively and just all the projects that I get up to, my works in progress, finished objects, and my plans and yarn acquisitions, which I have a couple of today. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope you'll stick around to the end because I have a lot of really cool projects to show you guys today. I'll tell you first off what I'm wearing. This is the very first sweater that I made, and it is so special to me for that reason, but primarily because I started knitting it on a beach trip with my mom, and the beach is my happy place. The sun, the sand, the ocean, it is where I am the happiest I will ever be is on the beach. So to have really started the more complex, adventurous era of my knitting journey on the beach is just extremely special to me. So for that reason, I will never ever get rid of this sweater, even though it didn't turn out quite as expected. I knit this with a single strand of Lion brand Fisherman's wool, which is a worsted weight wool, but I met gauge on it pre-blocking, and then it blocked and it grew to a actual worsted weight gauge, which the sweater pattern I was knitting is the Monday sweater, sorry if I didn't say that, by Petite Knit, which has a DK weight gauge. And this had a DK weight gauge until I blocked it, and then I blocked it and it became a worsted weight gauge because it's a worsted weight yarn. But we live and we learn, and I had this yarn on hand and I wanted to use yarn I didn't quote unquote care about for my first sweater because I didn't want to be so invested in it emotionally that if I couldn't make it work that I would be beating myself up about it and feeling even more like a failure and wasting the money, because I already had this yarn and I knew that if I decided I wasn't going to proceed with the project, that it was fine. I wasn't out anything. But I did manage to do it. This was my very first collar that I knit. It's a fold over, double fold collar, pinned down on the inside. And then going into the raglan increases, which was my first time doing that. Make one left, make one right, make one left, right, purlwise. Oh my gosh, it hurt my brain. And I was in the car. I was a passenger princess on the trip, and I couldn't keep them all straight, and I kept messing them up and messing them up and messing them up. And I would make it through the yoke, and the increases would look horrible. So I pulled this yoke back 3 times, 2 times on the beach trip. The third time, I said, you know what, I'm gonna forget the make one left, make one right, and I'm just gonna do it increases, knit one through the back loop, and knit one, knit through the back loop. So you knit the same stitch twice, and that gave me this really nice increase here. Like, it doesn't have the wide increase row that Petite Knit has standard in her Monday sweater, but I was happy with it, and it came out and it looked proper, and I'm like, you know what, this is great. Improvise and just keep going. And then breaking for the sleeves, and oh, my hair and then the body, which I did make it fairly cropped, which I love. I feel like this is a really great length for me, but because of how oversized it is, it's not my preference fit. But this happened for 3 reasons, I believe. One, I should have taken out the extra raglan stitches that she had in the pattern, since I was not doing the raglans as prescribed, I believe. 2, the most obvious, was I used a heavier weight yarn and achieved a heavier weight gauge. And 3 is my bust size is pretty much always across the board in between small and medium. I average about a 35-inch bust to 35.5-inch, give or take. You know how that goes. And that puts me at the tail end of a small or the start of a medium. So depending upon the fit I want, it's vastly different size choice either way I go. So for this one, I knit the medium, so it's got way more than the 6 to 8 prescribed inches of positive ease, because it is a larger size than I should have knit myself, and because of the heavier weight yarn. But I love it. It is a little bit prickly. I have knit this yarn with a strand of brushed alpaca silk, and it feels like velvet. It is glorious, but I didn't have that at the time. And this doesn't really bother me. Like, I can feel it on my skin, but it doesn't bother me. So I still love the sweater. It's not perfect, but it's meaningful to me. So it is perfect. So that's what I'm wearing today. I only have one finished object, and it still needs blocked properly. So I don't know if we can even consider it a finished object. This was a work in progress last time, but barely. My son's Oslo hat by Petite Knit in the color Pomegranate by Knitting for Olive. And this is so cute. Like, it needs blocked, obviously, to get more depth, so that way I can widen the brim. But I just love the Oslo hats. They are a really awesome pattern. So I knit this out of just a little bit more than 2 balls of the Knitting for Olive Pomegranate. So that's my only finished object, which is insane, but you'll see why in a second. A lot of my time has been devoted to, well, for one, I've been busy with work, but my free time, knitting time, has been devoted to my Salty Days sweater by Katova Kika, Veronica Lindenberg. Lindberg? And I've got a couple of mohair joins to weave in, so if you will ignore that. But here she is. Now, this did not exist in my last podcast 20 days ago, so I'm still pretty happy with it. And oh my gosh, it is, I'm almost in the body. I've got about another 1.5 inches to do on the twisted rib hem, and then the body will be done. And this is the first time that I've ever done lace work. This is the first time that I've ever done cables. Honestly, I was the most worried about the cables, but it was the lace that gave me the most trouble. And it's just such a beautiful pattern. It's got all these lovely little eyelet details. I love the eyelet borders along the shoulders. This is the back yoke. And these colors. It's like the perfect muddy taupe mauve. It's squishy. I cannot wait to have this done. I have been obsessive on this, but I needed a bit of a mental break from it. So I set it aside for a couple days and cast on a couple other projects. But before I forget to tell you, I am using Drops Kid Silk Mohair in the color Malva and Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the color Moral. And that is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. Peruvian Highland? Peruvian. Just Peruvian wool, I think. And that is my Salty Day sweater. I really hope that I can have this finished by my next podcast. But we'll see. I believe I'm going to do the collar next and then the sleeves. Because sometimes I find that if you try to do the sleeves before you have the collar, that it will pull up the sleeves more when you do the collar. So I really feel like the collar should be done before the sleeves, so that way you get an accurate length on the sleeves. But as we have established, I have freakishly long arms, so I have to lengthen sleeves anyway. So for me to have to rely on measuring things as I go so much for my sleeves now, having the collar in place so that way there's no risk of me having to adjust that in my brain, like, okay, you've got a good length now, but if you put the collar on, you might lose like an inch. So if I just do the collar first, it takes away a lot of guesswork for me. So that is my Salty Days sweater, and honestly, this has been on my mind to do for so long. I've wanted to do it, I've been intimidated by it, and I'm just so glad that I finally did it. And I have Morgan from Morgan Unraveled to thank for that. She definitely is a big motivating factor for me finally to cast that on. Watching her lead that Salty Days knit along and all the gorgeous projects that came out of it, and then seeing her finished Salty Days, it's like, okay, it's time. Get over yourself, Emma. It's not gonna be that bad, just do it. Sometimes you just have to throw yourself in feet first and figure it out as you go. And it helps that Katova Kika has an amazing YouTube channel where she has tutorials for the Salty Day sweater, as well as her other projects. So my next work in progress, which you will have seen a little bit last time, I think I had some progress done on this last time, is my youngest son's Monday sweater. This is the Petite Knit Monday Sweater Junior, which you can see I have properly figured out the, oh, there they are, the raglan increases this time. So doing things properly. And this is also knit in Wool of the Andes. It's falling apart and collecting cat hair. Wool of the Andes by Knit Picks in the color Tranquil. And I'm really liking how this is working up. I definitely have my reservations about it being too prickly for him, but I really think that this is going to soften up a lot in blocking. And if it bothers him, because he does have some sensory preferences, we'll say, and so if it bothers him, then I will find somebody else to pass it along to. But I really think he would have benefited from me holding a mohair or a alpaca silk with this, but it just would have bumped it up to too high of a gauge for the pattern. So that is what we're doing, and we'll just see how it goes. See what we end up with and if it's something he'll like or not. And when I needed a break from my Salty Days, I was feeling frustrated because I'd had to pull back that lace again, because getting those eyelets to line up to make the diamonds, oh my gosh, it was hard. It was very mentally challenging for me, but I'm extremely happy that I stuck with it and got it done. Well, it's not done, but I got through the worst of it. There's a small eyelet detail on the sleeve, but it'll be fine. But when I needed a break from that, I cast on a Petite Knit summer tank. I think it's called the Audrey top, and it doesn't really look like anything right now. It is just rolly stockinette right now. But I made some pretty decent progress in this. And this is going to become, I'll of course insert a picture wherever it will fit. I don't know, this is a new filming setup, mainly just because I was too lazy to try to get my cozy corner all properly lighted, and I'm just in front of my bedroom window. This is a really nice, it's kind of a halter top, like a straight edge halter top, and it's got the deeper kind of like racer cut sleeves, armholes, and I really love the look of it. And I love that it's knit at a DK gauge and not going to take too terribly forever. So that is what I cast on in Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, their Cotton Merino blend in the color Terracotta Rose. I am holding that double, and believe I am using 3.75 millimeter needles because I had to size down a little bit for proper gauge. And I actually am knitting a size small for this, even though probably, according to the size chart, I should have knit a medium. But I did knit a medium. I knit about 3 inches of a medium. Then I put it on my cords and slipped it on over my waist. I was like, nope, this is supposed to only have like 0 to 2 inches of ease. And it was not that at all. So I pulled it back. I went down to a 3.75 millimeter from a 4, and I also dropped down to a small. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited about it. I just can't work on it too terribly much at one time because the cotton merino content is a little bit strenuous on my hands if that's all I'm knitted on all day. So I need to break that up a bit. And I've got my socks, the I'm So Basic sock pattern by Summerly Designs, Summerly Knits. I don't know why my brain isn't working. But I got a little bit more progress done on these this week as well. I think I've decided that I'm going to finish them because I definitely have more progress done on this one than this one. I think this is the one that I took with me to my youngest speech therapy appointment this week. These are just great to throw in your bag and take with you when you need a little on-the-go project. And this is knit in Patton's Croy sock in the color Mid-Century. And it just makes this really nice striping sock. And that is a wool and nylon blend, so it is extremely durable and awesome. And last one, and I just cast this on, and I do plan to cast on another thing, but I just have not done that yet. I might have a little bit of cast on fever. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. So this is another Monday sweater. See if I can get to focus. And this is just literally the cast on edge and 1 row of ribbing. That's all this is. In the color, well, the yarn Drops Daisy in the color, oh, I think it's sage green. But it's color 2-6. Drops Daisy, which I believe is a DK weight, 100% extra fine merino wool. And it's just gorgeous. So I guess this kind of jumps us ahead to our acquisitions, but this came this week and is going to be my on gauge, proper sizing Monday sweater. So I'm knitting the size small. I am knitting it with a proper DK weight yarn, which I wish you guys could feel this. This is so soft. This is amazing yarn. I am so excited to have a garment made out of this. I watched a YouTube review channel talk about this and basically immediately ordered some. The channel, if you're interested, is Untwisted Threads. I will either pop up a picture or do a link in the description if I can. But it's just a channel that I really enjoy. She buys and reviews a lot of yarns and just helps when there's so many options out there and you really don't know what's good and what's not, and everybody has a different opinion. You can at least watch the same person reviewing all these yarns and kind of get a baseline of her thoughts, and you get to see what she thinks about all these and have a consistent idea of like, okay, but I know she's really sensitive and I'm not quite as sensitive, so that would probably be just fine for me. So if you're looking for a little bit of help wading through the muck of analysis paralysis when it comes to so many yarn options and everybody's knitting with everything, and it's also wonderful and you want it all, if you would like, check out her channel. I've really enjoyed it. She's been putting up videos for over a year now, so there's a backlog. You can check out a bunch of her reviews and it just has been so helpful to me with knowing what I want to work with and being like, okay, I'm gonna pass on that one for now, or okay, this is what my Monday sweater is gonna be. And I think this is gonna be a really good color on me. I'm trying to only buy yarns that I think are gonna look really good on me, and I think this is gonna be one of them. Because comparatively, I have this Lucky Brand cotton wool solid that I intended to remake my Lakes pullover by Ozetta out of, and I questioned if this was not a good color for me, and a couple people agreed in the comments that this was not a good color for me. I might still knit it because I really like this color. And maybe once I knit it, if I really feel like it's a bad color for me, or it washes me out, or it's just too skin tonal, it's a cotton wool. I can always pop it in like a taupe or a darker brown dye bath and turn it into a whole new thing. Or I could return the yarn and buy a different color from the brand, but I don't want to do that. So here's to buying colors that I know are going to work on me. And this is the other color that I got. Again, Drops Daisy. I believe this is their color Marzipan. It's listed as color 02. And I just love these. These are great together. I think this is going to be just a very nice basic sweater. There's a chance this might become my Storm sweater by Petite Knit that is on my Make 9. I think I have enough for that. So that might be what this becomes. And I feel like the Storm sweater really benefits from a soft neutral, kind of along this line. It's like a light gray, a heather gray, as long as it's subtle. A warm cream, something light beige, something like that. That's gonna really make all that intricate work pop. And I'm really excited about that. So comparatively, the Storm sweater, as well as the Salty Day sweater, they both have the segmented sections of patterns. And that's amazing. And I'm honestly quite obsessed with that whole vibe right now. But I like that the Storm sweater doesn't have the lace holes. I feel like that makes it a little bit more wearable. Like, I don't think I'm really gonna have any problem wearing this. I'll just wear a nude colored tank top underneath or something like that. Because I am very, very excited about this one. And I really wanted to knit this one first because of the tutorial and just gaining confidence through knitting this one with the tutorial to hold my hand. So again, the glorious Salty Day sweater that has taken over my life. And in my last video, I spent a lot of time working on my Ravelry queue, and I uploaded a bunch of stash to it, and I still have more stash that I need to upload, but we're getting there. And I really enjoyed that process, and I really think that using Ravelry is going to become an obsession of mine. I just have to get my projects moved over there so that way I can start keeping track of them, and you guys can see my notes, what I'm making, what I'm doing, what yarns I'm using, without having to scroll back through my videos or video descriptions and stuff like that. I do have and use the Maker's Notebook from Making Treasures on Etsy, and I got the hard cloth back version, and it's just so nice. There's so many different options on here for like different manners of tracking, but I'm really enjoying the project notes. I've got my Salty Days sweater notes here so far. It's just really nice to track. You can use what size. I keep track of the yarns that I'm using and keep kind of tally counts of how many skeins I use of each as I use them. So that helps me know how much I use at the end of the project, and then I'll kind of do like a total project cost and know the exact like yardage that I used. And that's just a lot of very helpful information for future projects. One last thing I wanted to mention is that I have not been contacted yet by the winner of the Cider Stroll Socks giveaway, and I forget the exact name. It's Donna something, but it's on my last video. If you entered the giveaway and have not watched the video to see if you won, please go back to my last video and see if that was you, so that way I can get you your socks. Well, your sock yarn. But thank you to everybody who entered and left a kind comment. That really just meant so much to me, and I am so excited for my next giveaway. I'm hoping to do another one maybe when I hit 3,000 subscribers, and maybe I'll do a sweaters quantity of Daisy. That would be so cool. But yes, guys, please, if you enjoyed this video at all, a like is the best compliment that you can give me, besides subscribing, of course. And thank you guys so much for being here and for hanging out with me. It truly means the world, and I really enjoy getting to spend a little bit of your afternoon with you, and would love to hear what you've been working on in the comments below. Thanks, guys.